Hi, my name is Elisa, and in this tutorial we will prepare the Spark environment for writing Python-based Spark applications. So for this we will use a text editor. For example, I will use Sublime to write the Python scripts, but you can also use any other idea for Python. And then we will use a Spark shell to run the Python-based application. So to use a Spark, we will use a Apache Spark that is provided by a Spark framework. So we will write Spark jobs in Python. And then in order to run the application, we will use the shell and the Spark submit script provided by Spark. With the following command. So, but to start, we first need to set up Spark locally, and needs to download the latest version from the download page. So we go Spark Apache org. So I'm going to download. Spark needs to be built again a specific version of Hadoop in order to access Hadoop distributed file system. The download page provides pre-built binary package already for Hadoop, and we'll choose the latest version, and we choose for pre-built Hadoop 2.4, and we download it. Spark requires a Scala programming language in order to run, but the pre-built binary package for Spark comes with a Scala runtime package included, so you don't need to install Scala separately in order to get started. However, you will need to have a Java runtime environment or Java development kit installed on your machine to use the Spark. So for this, basically, you just need to check if you have installed Java on your machine. I have Java 1.8. So now we have downloaded Spark. I will move it to another folder. Put it on desktop, new folder, Spark, and then Spark. Move it here. I'm unpack it, the contents. Yeah, so this is a Spark framework, and it has a configurations settings in all files in the folder config, and we will use mostly the bin directory, where you can also use a Spark shell and write the Scala application, or you want to run PySpark to use it to write in Python. But we will use Spark submit script in order to run the applications locally in standalone mode. So first we will create a simple word count application on Python. I'm using the text editor Sublime, and here I'm already has created it. So first we import the required libraries from PySpark package. It's Spark context and Spark config. Then here is the full of the main method in Python. Then we check the amount of arguments. Here we have two. The Python script by itself, which we want to run, submit as a Spark job, and the file in text file in which we are going to count the words, how many words there are. In case if we didn't specify these two parameters, the application will exit. The next step is any Spark application, we have to create the Spark object. And by doing this, we use first we create a Spark configuration object where we set up the application's configuration, like application name, and a master where we're going to run the application. It is optional. We can also specify this in a command line when we will run in a shell. So this is option here, optional, this parameter. And then we create the Spark context by itself by passing the configuration parameter. The next step, we are creating the resilience distributed datasets from a text file by using Spark context object. So we load the text into RDD, and here it's a file path to the file, which we already passed here as an input parameter for this script. So now we have it returns the RDD of lines of strings in text, and now we count the words in the file. We use transformations like a flat map, where we iterate in each line, and we split each line by white space into words. Afterwards, we apply a map transformation to map each word to value 1, so it's occurred already one time. And then we apply another transformation reduced by key. So that means whenever we have the same key, in this case it's a word, we will count the previous to the current value. We will count the amount of this word. It will return the counts, will return the RDD of key value pairs, where key is a word and a value is a count. Next, we apply in this level, no computation has been done. All transformation is lazy in Spark, unless we will not execute an action. And one of the action is a collect. So it collects all records from RDD and returns the array of pairs, key value pairs in this case. So now, since we have a simple array here, we iterate on a key value, where key is a word and value is a count, and we print the results in the shell or in the console. And afterwards, we stop the Spark context. Since all computation has been done, we have to stop the Spark context. Only one Spark context can be running at the same time in the application. And you want to have several ones, you have to stop the previous one and then create and run another one. So now I have this file located also in a desktop application, and to run this Python based Spark application, I will use a terminal or console. So for this I need to navigate into our Spark, downloaded Spark framework folder. So I put it in a desktop, Spark. So we go to this directory, then we run script spark submit. Then we specify the parameter master, local 8, The next parameter is full path to our file script, and since it's also on the desktop, I have it, and just still will copy the path and its name count button. Then we need to have also a second path, is path to the text file. It can be any text file on your machine, which one you can use for this application. I also have it on a desktop. So text. So by running this command, we submit a Spark job in a local standalone mode. In this mode, all the Spark processes are run within the same Java virtual machine, and Spark uses multiple threads for parallel processing. In this case, we use 8 threads. By default, the number of threads equal to the number of cores available on your system. So now I'm just run it, and it will show me first a lot of information that Spark has been run, and you can also check it. So just go from the beginning. It's a lot of output here, and here we have the output of each word and amount of it. Oh, so I did something. Something changed. Okay, then we'll have here also another example. It's a web content count. Principle is basically the same example, but we are counting the words from a web page. For doing this, I'm using additional library from Python, that is standard one, that is provided by Python, and then I open the URL here. Instead of having the second argument as a file, I don't need it anymore, so I put it here. I need only one argument. It's a file script, Python script, only required to run this application, and so I use this library to open the URL. And here you can put any URL you want. I use LNU web page, media technology web page in English. So it returns response where you can read the content and get the page source. Next, I want to load this page source into Spark, and to doing this, I'm using again Spark context. Then I use another method of parallelize that creates RDD from the page source, where I split each line by a new line. So it will return me RDD of lines of the page source. And then I want to count how many lines contains the university word. And for this, I apply another transformation filter, where I iterate I'm in each line, and I'm check if the word exists in the line, contains in the line. And if returns me boolean, if it's true, then this line will be in counts. So count, it's a new RDD of lines where each line contains the word university. Then I want to count, this is again only transformation, no computation has been done, and it's lazy unless you will not perform the action. In this case it's a count, so I want to know how many lines the university word has been occurred. So I apply the count, it will return me just integer, one value, and then I just print it to the console, total number. So this file is also located in a desktop. To run it, now I did also just going back. So right now we don't need to have to pass any file anymore, and we need to specify the correct name to the Python file and run it. So the result is here, total number is 3. 3 times has been met the university in a media technology web page. This is very simple examples of using a Spark. But this tutorial was showing just only how you can run and set up a Python-based Spark application as a getting started, as a hello world. That's all.